ओम अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुर्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपकथा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरुवैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्री राधा कृष्ण पादान सहगन ललिता श्री विशाखावितंश। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपति गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिय। वाञ्छकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवास आदि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। लाचल निवास नित्य परमात्मा बलभद्र सुभद्रा नाथ है। So on the auspicious occasion of Gita Jayanti, we invite everyone to share the realization as to how Srimad Bhagavad Gita has impacted them in their lives. So first I would like to request Bhakti Ratnakar Prabhu. Bhakti Ratnakar Prabhu is a very senior devotee and a disciple of His Holiness Bhakti Charu Maharaj. So without further ado, so let's welcome Bhakti Ratnakar Prabhu to share his realization by chanting Hari Bol, Hari Bol,
Hari
Hari
Bol,
Bol.
Hari Bol, Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Guru Parampara, Guru Maharaj, Guru Parampara, and six Goswamis. Thank you, Prabhuji, for letting me share my realizations on the occasion of the Bhagavad Gita Jayanti. I would like to thank all of you for attending and making our Bhakti Vriksha regular and full of realizations. Yesterday we had a very good Bhagavad Gita recitation, and I hope you all participated either virtually or in person. So I like to share some of my practical application in my life, how Bhagavad Gita has helped me. And these are all my personal realizations. So I wanted to share that so that you also can get some perspective on the Bhagavad Gita. And these realizations may not be, one disclaimer is that these realizations may not be same for others. Because one fundamental thing in Bhagavad Gita we have to understand is that Bhagavad Gita, Krishna has kept some open exits. Open exits in the sense I'm talking exits. These exits are different for different people. The realizations, the same verse may appear differently may get realized by different people in different circumstances, different ways. So it's a very, as we all know, Bhagavad Gita is time insensitive. First of all, Krishna itself is time, right? And the first realization is what I get from Bhagavad Gita is Krishna is time. What I got the realization from is that we have gone through, I won't say good times, but I would say what are favorable, what appeared favorable to us, and some situations where we felt not favorable to us. But in the end, if you do the introspection, all situations are favorable to us. There is no Dvaita philosophy. That is what there is no duality principle. Okay, every situation is favorable to us only. In the long run, if you see the stretch of it, in the long run, it appears it is for our benefit only. Nothing is for our. It is not that Krishna wants to punish us or anything. Only thing is he is making us realize the meaning of the life. So fundamentally, Bhagavad Gita is nothing but what how I see is that it's the way you have to live the life. Whereas Bhagavatam is how to transform our consciousness. Whereas Bhagavad Gita is application, how to practically apply how we have to apply the principles in our actual life, that if a situation comes, how we should basically deal with it from the perspective of Shastra, from the perspective of Guru, from this perspective of Sangha. Some realizations we may not understand, like as I have told, like Hem Jagannath Prabhu has explained the 5 fundamental reasons for any action, right? I myself studied many times, but I did not realize. Only in the Sangha I got the realization of it, that what are the 5 discrete factors which affect basically any of our action, the consequences of action, the mercy behind the action, the instruments of the action, and the consciousness of the action, right? So, Guru, Shastra, and Sangha is the main aspect here is mainly the Shastra part I want to talk, because that is what, first of all, it is a direct commentary by Sri Krishna, and he has emphatically specified I in many places. That means he has superimposed the fact that he is the personality of Godhead, and how he definitely has been guiding, and what was the intent of the shloka. So if we do the introspection of each shloka, we will understand the mood of the Krishna at that time, and also the mood of the Krishna, what he's trying to tell us our times, at this time, at our circumstance. Also we can realize that Krishna is trying to tell us. He doesn't talk to us directly because we are not that realized souls. He does talk to us, but he talks he talks to us through his realizations, through the circumstances we are going on. That is how he talks to us. Means, what I want to say is that we may not be that elevated that he comes in dreams or he comes in presence and talks to us. There are certainly, as Krishna has told, for the millions and millions of people, of those who are, he may appear, but at least I am not at that stage. But how he talks to me is through the Bhagavad Gita and through the actions. So few of the examples which I want to quote is the first one which I want to uh, the first one, but I realized that in the last, that we are not this body. I want to explain this. This is a very abstract concept. We are not this body and we are this soul. Is how I got realization is, I would attribute all these realizations through my Guru Maharaj. He has, after he left the planet, he started giving me realizations. So not that he gave me earlier, but earlier I must have taken that to be granted. I must have overlooked some things, but after he left, he's really speaking to me. So the first thing is that we are not this body, means what is the practical aspect of it? It is not just it's an abstract or a theoretical concept that we are not this body, we are this soul. Is that whenever a situation comes, earlier I used to think that it is, why this is happening to me, why me, why this situation, what did I do wrong, me, these things were coming. The direct manifestation of the what is the soul is that, what how I understood is that even there is a anger, there is some lust, there is some greed. All these are the 3 fundamental principles with which we get entangled, right? Lust, anger, and greed, what we call lag. So all these things we get because we are entrapped in this bodily concept of I, me, mine, right? So because of these things, oh, I am having pain, oh, I am suffering, I am hurt, or I want this. All these concepts, how I realized is that Krishna has um, teaching us through these sufferings or happiness, that this is how you should approach when you are in the tough, like for example, we all get, why do we do practice of mathematical problems before going to the exam? To know the different approaches, to understand what can be the trick questions, what can be the. So similarly, the situations, Krishna is telling that if you take the equation of my, me, mine from that, you will understand the perspective of the situation. That is what, how I realize that that is what the soul is. That is what the, when the soul interacts, that is what the consciousness is. That is my first realization, that we are not this body. And not this body means we are part and parcel of Krishna. So what is part and parcel of Krishna? It's very easier and it is very common to say in Krishna consciousness we are part and parcel of Krishna. What that means is that we surrender ourselves to Krishna, that okay, Krishna, whatever is the situation or whatever is the problem, I will try to solve, and under your tutelage, under your guidance, pray for him. And don't try to pray for the answer, but pray for how to guide me in this situation, and he will definitely guide you. So what that also proves is that there is a super soul who understands. How does he give the realization? He gives the realization as a super soul sitting in our heart. He makes you realize. I tell this example. Everybody saw the apple falling, right? Why he gave the realization to Newton that there is some gravitational force. So similarly, everybody goes through the situation. If we are at that frequency and if we have that purity and if we have that faith, and I would say purity and all are different terms. I would say if we have the surrender, then we will get the realization. And that is where the body, the soul, and the super soul concept comes. That's how I realized this. The second is um, um, whatever happens in the beginning, if something is a long standing and something is a long term which Krishna wants us to adhere to, then in the initial he tries to test us. Like for example, anything, even when since I give more analogy to the physics. Before it's your fundamental inertia, right? You have to overcome that inertia to even for if a body, we have to keep it in motion, we have to overcome the inertia. That's the law of inertia and law of dynamics, right? So what I want to tell is that initially we will have a lot of problems in Krishna consciousness. Getting up early is a challenge. Focusing on chanting is a challenge. Carrying out the Krishna consciousness principles day in and day out in this Kali Yuga where there are many distractions is a challenge. So everything is a challenge. But what these challenges are nothing but these are the aids for us. These are the aids for us to get deconditioned, to get more spiritualized. Um, I know again these terms are, I don't want to go into the abstract sense. The actual realization is that through the problems I came to realize the Bhagavad Gita more and more. So you can say that this Bhagavad Gita is in practically it is making us realize these verses. Why it is making you realize? One is for yourself, and two, you can share these realizations so that others also understand what are the fundamental concepts of Bhagavad Gita. The fundamental concepts of Bhagavad Gita are I, who am I, who is Krishna, and what is my relationship, and how to execute the relations. Sambandha, Avideya, Prayojana, right? These are the three fundamental relation which the Bhagavad Gita is. So, first, um, as many acharyas and our have said, first, first class guy is one who learns seeing others' examples, right? Second person is one who experiences himself and learns. That is the second. And the third is that after experiencing also you are not learning, right? That is the third. So with Bhagavad Gita, he's trying to make us the first class devotees by making us understand through the knowledge. If we can't understand, then he gives us problems that way we can understand. And even after that, if we are not able to understand, then he leaves it, say, as Krishna has said that no worries. You carry on how your understanding is. We will meet later when you are ready. Okay. My third realization basically is that everything is in your mind. Krishna says in the fourth chapter, I think, your mind is the cause of your problems. Your mind is the same mind is the same mind is a solution to your problems also. As Gaur Gopal Das has clearly explained that one day when they were sitting in the college campus and the results were out, he and his friend were sitting under the his campus was on the side of a river in Pune, and they were having samosa, their favorite uh, uh, tea and samosa, and they were praising the day. Oh, how beautiful it was, a sunny day with a light breeze, very favorable for a morning, favorable breeze. So they were enjoying the times. So the mind was in a very ecstatic state. After a few minutes, the results, his friend came by and told the results are out. And the same guy who was enjoying the tea and who was appreciating samosa and that time and the circumstance, he figured out that he flunked in few subjects and he became morose. The conditions are same, the time is the same, everything is remaining same, but only the condition changed. And what is the condition which what what uh, what part of our senses has got conditioned with that change of situation is the mind. Everything remains same. The body is same. The person is same. The situations are same. Everything is same, but it is the mind. So the best realization I had is that with mind you can not, I won't say control, but you can surrender yourself to the situation. Okay, Krishna, this is your plan. I will succumb to it. Whatever your plan is, I will do it. I will fight it out in the right way, so that way I become streamlined and I will become more prone to it. I will be more immune to these depression, stresses, and all of this just by following. So Krishna clearly says, mind is your friend, mind is your enemy. So it depends upon us how we deal with that situation. That is the third lesson I have learned from the Bhagavad Gita. And the fourth lesson which I have learned is basically that um, the there are two fundamental aspects which we try to we don't have the connection between two fundamental aspects. One is the five senses, the five gross senses, the five gross working senses, all, and the subtle ones, which is mind, intelligence, and ego. You know what connects these two? What connects these two, the gross and the subtle, is the soul. But let's not again talk in abstract terms. The what which connects these two is our consciousness. And what is the direct manifestation of the consciousness is our thinking. Our thinking has to be refined. Our approach has to be refined. That is what Krishna says in eighth chapter, that um, I am the five working senses, water, air, fire, and the fire material elements, the gross and the three subtle elements. He is the controller of all these three, right? We can't control the natural calamities. We can't control, but definitely we can control our mind, intelligence, and ego. That is what he's trying to tell, that they are subtle and they are the ones which gets carried over to the next generation cumulatively, next life. But let's not talk of even next life, because that again goes into abstract terms. But what continues in our current life is that the subtle nature of our mind, intelligence, and ego is what differentiates one individual from another individual. The same, for example, in a family, the three siblings, in my family, the three siblings were given same conditions, same everything same, but all of the three turned in three different directions for because of their mind intelligence and ego. So what we learned from the Bhagavad Gita is that we can definitely turn every situation through our subtle nature, irrespective of what is happening in the ambience, which is the gross nature. So, and of course, the final verse, which everybody's, I would call, is and is that we have to surrender. The 1869, basically 1867, sorry, is that we have to sarva dharman paritijya, that is literally imbibed in our consciousness by reading the Bhagavad Gita, that you don't have to, the main realization for me is that you don't have to follow rituals for it. We have to follow basically the consciousness, the purpose of the situation, which is, and that too with Krishna in the center. So if we try to dovetail our consciousness to surrender to Krishna, then you yourself will, I myself I could prioritize what is important and what is not important, what should be done and what should not be done. Krishna clearly says. The main confusion for is first is what is karma and what is akarma. Similarly, what to do and what not to do, he says, right? So all this clarity and delineation gets very clear by the surrender. So I don't want to take much time. I'll leave some realizations for the next time with the refined ones. But thank you for giving the opportunity. And these are the realizations which I feel. So hope we all can get something from each other's realization and improve ourselves. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Hari Bol.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. It was awesome. So look forward to hearing more and more from you in future sessions. So who wants to go next? Rohit Prabhu, Niranjan Prabhu? You can share your realizations about Bhagavad Gita and as to how Bhagavad Gita has inspired you.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah. Can I go, Prabhuji? Or
yeah, if you can share your video, it's good. Otherwise, it's fine also.
no, I'm trying to on my camera. Maybe Rohit Prabhu can go. Maybe I will try to fix my camera. Maybe.
Okay, Rohit Prabhu, you can go.
Sure. Yes, Prabhu. So, though I've heard Bhagavad Gita verses here and there during his visits, when I truly started paying attention was during Bhakti Vriksha classes. So my wife used to attend and she was the one who pushed me to join as well. And to be honest, initially my thought was Saturday evening after a week's work, I just want to relax. And I was also thinking, what benefit would I possibly get from reading Bhagavad Gita? So, but as classes went by, I started joining more. And also thanks to you, Prabhuji, for keeping the classes engaging. I started to become more receptive of the idea. So as I was in real life asking the question, like, what lessons can I learn from this book? Even Arjuna asked in chapter 2, verse 54, Sthita Prajnasa Kavasha, which is what is the disposition of one who is situated in divine consciousness. So roughly translating in that context to basically what am I supposed to do now? I have so many problems. And I want to stick to one main lesson I learned from this book, which really struck me, was the karmanyeva dikaraste mapaleshu kadachana. So you have the right to perform your prescribed duties, but not to the fruits of your actions. So if I had done something and did not get the expected appreciation or reward for the work, I used to get really hurt. I would sit and brood on it for a long time. I used to think, oh, okay, I'm never going to do this again because what is the point? No one even bothered to thank me. I just wasted my time. But this message of don't expect the fruits of your actions is emphasized in many forms throughout this book. And it also helps that I could see this in action during my temple visit. So I grew up a skeptic, so if someone is doing something good, my first thought is, what are they expecting in return? But in the temple, I could see a lot of Prabhujis and Matajis like genuinely performing services without any kind of expectations. And especially when I joined the Sunday cooking group, everyone was working together as a service and nobody was complaining about anything. And everyone was receptive to take any kind of work without any ego, irrespective of how old they are, how tired they are. And so that was very eye-opening for me. So, and even today, I'm not completely devoid of the feelings. I still have moments of dismay when some work goes unappreciated, but due to attending so many classes, it does not take long for me to realize that I did something because I really wanted to do it. And I can take happiness from that irrespective of the outcome of the work. So that was my key takeaway, Prabhuji. And I wanted to just conclude by thanking you for being a living example that you're taking classes selflessly every week, irrespective of how many or how few people are joining. So I want to conclude by thanking you, Prabhuji, for the class. It's my key takeaway. Bhagavad Gita.
Hare Krishna, Hari Bol, Prabhuji.
Prabhuji, you're on mute, Prabhu.
I'm sorry. So thank you so much, Prabhuji, for sharing your heart, and especially the Karmanyavadhikarastha example you gave. And we all had the share of expectation of appreciation, but when you basically speak and share your heart, it shows that you've been getting transformed by the message of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and that itself, hearing that in presence of devotees is actually a tribute to the Supreme Personality of Godhead and His message. So thank you so much, Prabhu. We all appreciate it, and we'll hear from Niranjan Prabhu, and we'll discuss a little bit more.
Thank you.
Niranjan Prabhu, you can go.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna.
I'm sorry, actually, I'm trying to on the camera.
No worries. That's fine. We can hear you. Go ahead.
Yeah. First of all, please accept my respectful, humble obeisances to all the Vaishnavas and all the devotees present at this point, and all the gurus and all the Vaishnavas, also Srimati Radharani and Sri Krishna. So, Prabhuji, before I came to US, I was leading a life of kind of passion and ignorant. I mean, I was having a really bad association. I have all kind of I was eating meat and sleeping late night, wasting lot of time watching news, TVs, all those kind of. So I mean, I was and my parents also, they are kind of religious, but they are in our temple. I see like a lot of they do puja with different kind of god. Even I didn't know who is the god, and so because sometimes they do puja to different kind of god. But after I I moved to US in the year 2019. So there actually I attended one of the devotees. Actually, he asked me to come to his house, and I attended a feast party where he invited actually one Guru Maharaj. There I attended the feasting. After I had the feasting, I don't know what happened. I think the super soul actually inside me actually is taking then I shifted to from St. Louis, Missouri to New Jersey, and there I didn't know anyone. Then I contacted you, Prabhuji. Like, thank you so much for adding me in the Bhakti Vriksha and attending the Gita classes. So based on my realization, I feel like after reading the Gita, it gives me energy, Prabhuji, to face the problems. Okay, so previously, whatever the problems I was facing, I kind of very much panicked. Okay, I'm very much tense after I had the problems, right? So it gives me energy basically to to face any kind of problems after I read or hear the Gita from you and all the other acharyas. So based on my realization, there are 5 things which I would like to tell, which I feel like which I have no idea. before I attended Gita. So first of all, the soul, okay. Initially, I didn't know, like, I was thinking we are this body, okay. But after I attended Gita and I see, like, we are not this body, we are the soul. And also, I didn't know about what is gross body, what is subtle body, and how the soul is entrapped within the subtle body and gross body, right? And how the body is made of these five elements: ether, water, fire, air, right? And the subtle body is made of mind, intelligence, and false ego. And also, the second chapter of Gita, tells all about the properties of the soul, right? I mean, how the soul migrates, and this like the soul cannot be, cut into pieces. Like it's kind of a transcendental, right? I mean, it cannot be. So second, my realization is what is material world and what is prakriti, basically, okay, right? So we are the soul, we are living in this metal body, but we are living in this metal world. I didn't know this Prakriti is one of the energy of the Lord. It's kind of one of the external energy of the Lord. And this Prakriti also have three natures, like, mode of goodness and mode of ignorance, mode of passion. And whatever work we do, basically, uh, is under the influence of one of the material nature, okay. uh, like as Krishna told, like nobody can sit ideal, right? So we have to do some work, okay. So all this work basically we do based on the influence of material nature, okay, and that is one of the energy of the Lord, right? So so third one is karma, basically, okay, and we do some kind of activities, right? So whatever activities we do, it has a equal and opposite reaction, basically, okay. And from the chapter third and fourth, I realized, what is sakarma, bikarma, and akarma, right? And sakarma is something which we do mostly in mode of goodness. Basically, it will have a positive reaction. But bikarma is something which will be kind of, done mode of ignorance, right? Which will have a negative reaction. But akarma is something which we do in Krishna consciousness, right? Where which will not have any no reaction, basically, okay, right? And so these three basically, soul, prakriti, and karma. And the fourth one is the time, basically, okay, right? Whatever work we do, so that is influence of time, and time is nothing but the Lord Krishna itself, okay, right? And this all these four things are, Prabhuji, I feel like it is kind of a material reality, and there's something called Bhagavan, okay, or the Iswar or the God, okay, which is completely spiritual, right? So these five, so there are three ways we can also realize the God, right? One is, there is something called, God means I was understanding it's kind of a light, basically. But after, joining Bhakti Vriksha and studying Gita, I realized it is nothing but in the illumination of the God's body, right? I mean, it's the light generating from the God's body, okay, and that is something. And secondly, we have also have the super soul realization, and third one is the God realization, okay, which is the personal form of the Lord. Uh, and there's something called also I learn about the yoga. So basically, we have something called material reality and spiritual reality. Okay, right? And yoga is something which connect the soul to the spiritual God. Okay, right? And the God. Okay. And Gita explains different kind of yoga system. Basically, the jnana yoga, karma yoga, right? And out of these yogas, I mean, the bhakti yoga is one of the best thing where which is one can easily perform bhakti yoga. I mean, the main thing also, it improves my intelligence also. I feel like after reading Gita, but previously I used to take a lot of time to remember something. I feel like my memory also gets sharpened after I read Gita. I feel like, and also my chanting gets also improved, Prabhuji, like after reading, right? And I'm making a practice, like every day I'm reading one verse of Gita, and after I read the Gita, I basically hear the Prabhupada lectures, videos, right? The audio lectures to understand more, like how Prabhupada realized that complete verse. And I'm trying to remember each and every verse. Like, there are some very good verses in Gita, basically. So as of now, I already remember around 20, 30 verses. I used to, in my afternoon time, basically when I have no work, so basically I write one sloka in one paper. I put it on my wall, and I try to remember that sloka in, like 3-4 times in the day. Okay, just to by heart the slokas. Okay, so with that process, I almost 20-30 slokas now I am able to run. I speak without seeing the Gita book. Yeah, the main thing is that I know, like, I have lot of challenges also in my family, but I was not getting energy, Prabhuji. I was kind of, very much tense after. But after coming to this Krishna consciousness, I don't know, like, who gives me energy, but I'm getting energy, Prabhuji. So something is there with me who tells, right? And whatever wrong things I'm doing, immediately, someone is telling me that this is wrong. Okay, you don't do that work, and don't waste. And I'm not wasting my time. I was wasting, hearing, and in my family also, people are telling that you are now talking less. Previously you are talking more, because I don't want to talk unnecessary things, too stupid things, right? Now I talk very less things. Okay, after coming into Krishna consciousness. Yeah, this is something I want to say, Prabhuji.
Thank you so much,
Very
Prabhu.
good realizations, Prabhuji. Thank you. Yeah, sorry, Prabhuji. Go ahead.
Yeah, so Niranjan Prabhu, it was just out of your heart, and Rohit Prabhu, Bhakti Ratnakar Prabhu, you spoke, vividly about uh, how Krishna has touched your hearts through these verses and how it has changed you as human being. And that is exactly what Srila Prabhupada's mission is. Prabhupada's mission is not do a temple where people come and they go away with clarity, with the right medication, so that they become human beings which are better, refiner, with better consciousness. So you actually epitomized this, and this is your gratitude to Bhagavad Gita on this auspicious uh, day. Yesterday was Gita Jayanti here in New Jersey, and this is your gratitude. Actually, this is your dakshina to Bhagavad Gita. And before I present Bhakti Ratnakar Prabhu, you wanted to say something. Didn't want to interrupt.
No, thank you. I was just amazed by the reflections what Rohit Prabhu and Niranjan Prabhu has outpoured their heart, and the real meaning they're understanding, Prabhuji. That's I'm also getting benefited, Prabhuji, from that. So I wanted to thank them sincerely for that. That was my point, Prabhuji.
Yeah. So we are getting benefited from your realizations, because the touching of that chord, that sense, that nerve is so subtle that different aspects of Bhagavad Gita touches different persons, and it eventually makes everyone a better human being with a better consciousness. So that itself is so wonderful. But I am no exception. I wanted to summarize my point of view um, by as to how Bhagavad Gita has inspired me. I'll just take 5 minutes max. So the thing is, Bhagavad Gita was spoken by many individuals, and Bhagavad Gita was a manual for all of us. But it did not touch me, especially because I had a tremendous amount of covering around me. And once I started reading Bhagavad Gita of Srila Prabhupada, things started to make sense to me, put in place the connections. But then I read, or rather heard, a a video in YouTube about Sutapa Prabhu, who is now Swayam Bhagavan, His Holiness Swayam Bhagavan, Kesav Swami Maharaj. I just wanted to mention it as my gratitude, where the sequence of knowledge he imparted in that video, you can also see that video. It's a beautiful video where Prabhuji at the time is sitting alongside another senior devotee, and he's just explaining these things in 2-3 minute video, and that really changed, and I started taking Bhagavad Gita more seriously. It is not that I was not convinced, but I must say my taste for Bhagavad Gita, a lot of people don't take chili, but once you get the taste for chili, as Bhakti Ratnagar Prabhu might mention, because they come from the land of chilies, you realize that, hey, there is a taste in chili which people in other places do not relish. So that taste, I would rather give it to Maharaj, who at the time was a brahmachari in Bhakti Vedanta manner. And this is what he said. He said, why this transcendental knowledge has to be studied? And he quoted from Bhagavad Gita, and there Krishna says that we have these doubts. Because of these doubts, there is a lot of darkness in our life. So this darkness has to be slashed by the weapon of knowledge. So um, Purna Purushottam Krishna says, Hritastan Jnanashina Mana, Jnana Shinatman. That means this weapon of knowledge, the weapon of brightness, weapon of light, has to cut the ignorance with a weapon, with a sword. So this, so the question becomes, why we should learn Bhagavad Gita? Because we need knowledge. All of you spoke about mind, some spoke about time, some spoke about karma, but behind the scene, doing the karma without knowledge is not going to take us anywhere. So we need knowledge. And Bhagavad Gita gives us the transcendental knowledge, not engineering knowledge, not physical knowledge, not mathematical knowledge, but something which we have to learn, and we have to cleanse our consciousness. But the end game is not knowledge. End game is bhakti. But the starting should be form of knowledge. And then after answering my why you should study Bhagavad Gita, because you have to cleanse your ignorance with knowledge. Then Prabhu spoke about when Lord comes, and there he talks about paritranaya sadhuna vinasha chadruskra dharmasasthapanarthaya samabhami yogi. And this is a verse, I don't want to go into that. All of you know about it. But why and when got answered. And then he goes on to mention how you can achieve this transcendental knowledge. And there, immediately after that, after the why and when was answered, he went to how. And there, evam parampara praptam. You can't learn from anywhere. You have to learn through disciplic succession from a acharya, from a Purna Purushottam Krishna, and Madhavacharya, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, Srila Prabhupada, Gurudev, and so on and so forth. Can't learn from anywhere. So how you should achieve transcendental knowledge? Bhagavad Gita clearly mentions evam parampara prapta. And who can understand transcendental knowledge? Bhaktu sime sakha cheti. Only a devotee can understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead. A big, bright, egoistic person cannot understand. And some of you really echoed that today. In order to understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead, you have to become a devotee. Bhaktu sime sakha cheti. Immediately, it touched my chord as to from how, who can understand, and then what is the actual process. The actual process is pariprashnena sevaya. That means you have to inquire submissively and render service through a bona fide source. So when this question of how, question of who, with the question of why, when, how, who, and what is clear, everything became clear. And then you start studying Bhagavad Gita instead of reading Bhagavad Gita. And then when you discuss this with some of the great devotees like all of you, it gives. And then one of the questions asked as to who is Bhagavan, who possesses Bhaga, and what is Bhaga? As Parasar Muni mentions, Aishwarya, he has Aishwarya, he has fame, he has Virashra. That means he has strength, and Yashasha means fame. He has Shriya. He has a lot of wealth. Jnana. He is full of knowledge. And after having all of this, there is no Vairagya because people are puffed up. But in spite of this five, he gets Vairagya. So then he does. So when you possess all this five and plus the Vairagya, six, then that qualifies for. So all the questions, all the doubts got clear, and that is how. Uh, so when I'm in doubt, I resort to these 5 or 6 key verses, which inspire me to go on and discuss this. So and that is where I really wanted to express my gratitude to the right sequencing in the message is so important. And the messaging need not be more, it can be 10-15 minutes, but you can touch the chord by simply messaging it right. And in that video, when I saw it, and I saw it 1 or 2 more times, and it was so clear that Bhagavad Gita is, for me, the greatest scripture. And only more and more we read, more and more inspiration will draw, and more transformation will bring to our lives. So this is a time to just check ourselves, have an opinion about where we are, and more you uh, you churn. In Gita Mahatma it is written, more and more you churn, it gives more and more sweetness. So everything is clear as who, when, how, what. It's so nicely explained. Bhagavad Gita is a masterpiece. It's spoken by the Supreme, and it is the most supreme scripture in the whole world. It will transform all of us, as some of you are already transformed. I don't want to go on and on, but I just wanted to express my gratitude to the devotees, and the and at the end of the day, when you discuss with devotees, as all of you have different realizations, we get enriched by all of your views and thoughts and reflections, and it's wonderful. It's like looking in front of a mirror. The way you are saying it, you're looking yourself in front of the mirror and expressing it. So I hope I just wanted to share my realization. Thank you so much for your attendance. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you so much for the realizations and logical connection.
Thank you, Prabhu. So it's wonderful hearing all of your views, and any final comments before we end? Just wanted to make it very close, well knit, because if you think about it, before 2, 3, 4 years, except Ratnagar Prabhu, who I probably know him for 15 years, we hardly have known each other. But through the Supreme Personality of Godhead, through the Bhagavad Gita, we all have come closer. So this relationship is actually eternal relationship. We don't have any personal dependence on anyone in this forum, right? Everybody goes on their merry way, do their own job, but it gets us closer through that close unifying thing, and that is the Supreme Personality's Godhead's epic scripture, Srimad Bhagavad Gita. So that is why our we should keep going. Wherever we are traveling, just open your phone and join the discussion. You never know how positive this will bring. And as Niranjan Prabhu and Rohit Prabhu, Bhaktiratnakar Prabhu, it's making us more and more positive day by day. And we have a long way to go, but it will definitely help. Okay, Prabhu?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, this Gita Subhadhini, there is one book by His Grace Gaurang Darshan Prabhu. So I want to read that book, Prabhuji, but it's only available in Amazon.in or how can I purchase that book?
That book is a very good book. Prabhuji has summarized it beautifully. Let's talk tomorrow in temple evening. I know one devotee who is very closely associated with the eco village where Prabhuji is residing, and they have the publication called Tulsi Books. Let me find out if he has extra copies from Tulsi Books directly, so that you can get a copy from him if he has stocks. So let's connect tomorrow in the temple in the evening.
Sure,
If you're
Prabhuji. Thank
if
you
you're
so much.
coming, otherwise I'll try to find out if he has extra copies of that book.
Yeah, Prabhuji, I'm coming tomorrow in temple. Yeah. So,
Any other comments? Bhakti Ratnakar Prabhu, Rohit Prabhu.
No, Prabhuji, I am good. Um,
No, Prabhuji.
you're talking
Thanks to everyone for sharing.
you're talking of DNP, Prabhuji?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Because he mentioned he had books, that's why I was asking.
Yeah. Because there are so many Subodhinis, just have to check with him
Which
if
one?
he has this Subodhini, what Prabhuji is looking for.
Yeah, he has, Prabhuji. He has on Bhagavatam also and Bhagavad Gita also.
Was it also okay? Okay.
Mm.
So we'll talk tomorrow, Niranjan Prabhu.
Yeah.
sure, Prabhuji. Sure.
Okay.
Thank you.
So what a day to really hear your realization. It's more fulfilling actually for me personally. So we'll end here. Tomorrow regular Sunday program. Please join.
Yeah, one thing, Prabhuji, before, but we all like to thank you, Prabhuji, even if you take time to prepare and organize very systematically and present very systematically, it's all because of you, Prabhuji, we are here. So sincerely, we all like to very from heartfelt thanks to you for taking this initiative and taking it along.
All Krishna Prabhupada. Thank you, Prabhu. All Krishna Prabhupada. So let's end here. Thank you so much. Let's end here by offering obeisances at the lotus feet of all Vaishnavas by saying Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripasindhu Vayevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namo. Vaishnav Vrinda ki jai. Grantaraj Bhagavad Gita ki jai. Shila Prabhupada ki jai. Gaur Premanande Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.